Yes, ma'am, you may begin.
Thank you, Mrs. Nath. Okay, over to the anchors. Please begin.
On the other side of the storm is the strength that comes from having navigated through it.
Just a
So
minute.
raise your sail.
Are we audible to everyone? I would just like to check. Are we audible
Not
to
very
everyone?
clear. There's a lot of echoing.
Echoing. That's the reason I stopped. Participants, are we audible? Are the anchors audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, now it's perfect.
Yes.
We can hear you. No more echoing.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Sit. Start. Please begin.
On the other side of a storm is the strength that comes from having navigated through it. So raise your sail and begin. What a wonderful way to start a quote by Gregory S. Williams. We've all been through a storm, yes, a storm which has confined us to our homes. We were in despair and agony. However, we have lived to survive it, and finally, it seems like the storm is coming to an end. We can see the beam of light, a light of hope, and thus we're here today to listen to our student and their views on life and its nature. Good morning to all. We welcome our dear principal, Mr. John Andrew Bowell, all the judges, teachers, participants, and the viewers here today for the Inter-House English Extempore competition. Now, I would like to hand over to our teacher, Mrs. Malubika S. Poddar, the HOD of the English department.
Thank you, Shuchishmita. The Inter-House Extempore competition is a very exciting and eventful day in the South City school calendar. But before we proceed, I would like to remember the great persona whose voice breathed life and texture into thousands of songs. Through her lyrics, she was able to unify and bind people, cutting across all borders of caste, creed, and nationality. Through the decades, her voice continued to resonate, clear, distinct, and representative of an entire era and nation. Yes, you have rightly guessed. I'm referring to none other than the Nightingale of India, Lata Mangeshkar, whose musical journey came to a standstill yesterday, 6th February 2022. We pay our homage to her. Why? Words, lyrics, music, poetry play a very important role in human lives. It influences, it calms, it relaxes, it entertains, and leaves a profound impact on our lives. No wonder Lata Mangeshkar held the distinction of being the most recorded artist in the history of Indian music, according to the Guinness Book of Records. Here is a short video on one of her eternal and most loved song.
Malvika ma'am, there's no audio for it. I don't know if others can hear any audio, but I don't hear any audio.
There is no audio. Sir, there is no audio. We'll play the song once again. I think the song was not audible. So we will play this beautiful song once again. Now it's audible. No?
Mute yourself. Mute yourself. I need to mute. Hello?
What a beautiful song. I know, I'm really sorry, viewers, that though we say we have advanced, but sometimes technology lets us down. However prepared we think we are, but sometimes we have to take things in our stride. And now coming back to today's event, I would like to say that during a crisis like the COVID-19 pandemic, which we have faced not only in India, around the world, strengthening communication, developing oratorical skills, and cognitive and social stimulation in students has been of prime importance to us teachers. And that is precisely we at South City International School have come forward time and again to host online competitions like debates, elocutions, and extempores. In fact, I came across a very amusing quote by none other than Winston Churchill, who said, "Death is the number 2 fear people have, and public speaking is the first." Humor apart, let the mouth speak what the heart is full of. So without further ado, I would like to hand back the mic to our anchors for today, Ms. Shuchishmita Majumdar and Ms. Mahi Singh, to proceed with the introduction of the judges. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, without further ado, let us introduce our judges. Our first judge is Ms. Anvesha Ray. Ma'am is a full-time lecturer in the postgraduate section of the Department of English, Vashwanti Devi College, Kolkata. Ma'am graduated with an MA in English from St. Xavier's University in the year 2019. Her academic engagement also includes her research in the interdisciplinary field of religious and performance studies, studying religious movements in Bengal in relation to their performative aspects. Her areas of research interest include South Asian cultural studies, performance studies, post-colonialism, and gender studies. In her leisure, ma'am is found to be painting, exploring new genres of music, or binging on short films. We welcome you, ma'am.
Our second judge for the day is Mrs. Rashmila Maiti. Ma'am is a teacher at Asian International School, Howrah. She has taught writing and literature to undergraduates in US for 7 years. Recently, she worked as a visiting faculty at IIM Ranchi. She holds a doctorate in comparative literature and cultural studies from the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville. She's a postgraduate in English from Jadavpur University. She writes for the Feminist Book Club and co-hosts a podcast on books and reading called Reading Squad. When not teaching or writing about books or films, ma'am freelances as an editor and volunteers as a social media coordinator for various non-profit organizations. We welcome you, ma'am.
Now, last but certainly not least, our final judge for the day is Mrs. Madhumita Malik. Ma'am is a senior teacher of English at the Modern Academy, Kolkata. She began her career as a teacher in Vidya Bharati School and later moved to St. Michael's School, Durgapur, before joining the senior secondary school at TMA. A teacher for the best part of the last 35 years, Miss Malik completed her graduation in English from Lady Brabon College, Kolkata. After, she went on to secure a master's degree in comparative literature and B.Ed from Jadavpur University. As a senior teacher, Mrs. Malik has been a part of the team of examiners for the Council of Secondary Education since 2007 and has been an ISC supervisor for the same period. Apart from that, ma'am has also been invited to various student competitions as a judge and jury member. She moderated the first level CISCE debate and has been an evaluator for the Albert Barrow essay competition. Ma'am is also an avid reader and takes time to pursue her deep interest in world literature, travel, and dance. We welcome you, ma'am. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to Mrs. Malvika S. Podar, HOD of the English Department.
Thank you, Mahi. Before we get on with the inter-house extempore competition, I would like to invite our principal, Mr. John Bagul, to address all our viewers. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our respected, distinguished judges. Good morning to my dear students, all the participants who are so excited, to all the teachers who are involved in making this online event a success, and to all parents at home who would be listening in. A warm welcome to our inter-house extempore competition. A lot has been said about public speaking. And yes, if you can pass on your message in the first few minutes to your audience, obviously you've captured your audience. And today is not about a speech or a debate, but it's a part of an oratory skill where you'd be given a topic and you have to speak on the spot, think on your feet. And we obviously expect you to do very well, because at South City International School, we always set a very high benchmark. So students, Please do rise to the occasion. I'm sure our three judges would not be disappointed, and I would like them to take back wonderful memories of an online competition by young, dynamic, enterprising, smart students of SCIS. So, all the best to all of you out there. Hoping to have all of you back in school at the earliest, though we have our students today of 9 and 11 in school, and I have been just given the results of 10th and 12th. So, a big day for our students of 10th and 12th to get the first semester board exam result right in the middle of Feb. So many things happening today. All the best to all students, to all participants, and congratulations, Malvika ma'am, for going ahead with this wonderful event. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure your words have already energized and rejuvenated our participants, our anchors, and all of us, definitely. So without further ado, I would request both our anchors to carry forward the battle of words and wit. Thank you.
Ma'am. One important key to success is self-confidence. And an important key to self-confidence is preparation. John Ford once said, you can speak well only if your tongue can deliver the message of your heart. Indeed, what wise words.
Now, before moving on to the categories, we will introduce a few rules and guidelines. Extempore means speaking out of the moment, speaking extemporaneously or at the time. So the very obvious rules are to speak to the point. Each participant gets a particular 2 plus 1 minute time slot to speak. If the time limit exceeds, marks can be deducted. The decision made by judges will be final. Moreover, each participant will be judged out of a total of 50 marks. The content of the speech, voice modulation, presentation, pronunciation, and spontaneity carry 10 marks each. Other than this, we would also request all participants to keep their audio muted while other participants are speaking. Thank you.
Thank you for highlighting the rules and regulations, Mahi. Moving on to the categories for the day. We have 3 categories today. Category 1 for classes 6 and 7. Category 2 for classes 8 and 9. Lastly, category 3 for classes 10 and 11. The total number of participants today is 12. Now, let us move on to what we've all been waiting for all this while. Without wasting any more time, we shall start with category 1. Each student will represent their respective houses in this category.
Our first speaker for today from this category is Ashmita Datta of class 6A, representing the Achiever House. Ashmita, you may now choose your topic.
A very good morning to one and all present here. My name is Ashmita Datta from class 6A of the Achiever House, and I choose topic number 2. Extraterrestrial life is fictitious. Once seen as the center of the universe, the Earth has suffered various demotions, and now we know that it is just one of the several planets existing in the Milky Way galaxy. This makes us wonder, are we really home alone? If we could see the distant exoplanets from the surface of the Earth, they would appear to be of different shapes and sizes. Yet none of them have given any indication of life as of yet. This brings us to certain questions that immediately come to mind, like, what are the basic requirements for life? Could life have existed on other planets? And of course, are there other planets like the Earth? To answer the first question, we already know that life on Earth is structurally based on carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, and protein molecules. It is almost an embarrassment of riches The Earth provides almost everything that is required to sustain life: an atmosphere, water, and suitable temperature. And it is all available for free. To add to this information, research shows that these basic building blocks of life are not only available on Earth, but also on other planets. In such a huge universe, or perhaps even a multiverse, it is easy to imagine that there are other planets similar to the Earth, and that these planets may sustain life, whether simple or complex. And finding proof of such existence of life is of high importance to NASA. To know more about this topic, we must first understand what we already know and what we don't. We already know and have confirmed that there are about 4,000 exoplanets existing in the Milky Way galaxy, and that about 1/5 of these planets are the size of Earth. We know that these planets may or may not consist the basic building blocks of life. However, we are still unaware of how readily life begins, whether it is common or rare, and how long it really endures. Even though we do not have enough material evidence of the existence of this extraterrestrial life, movies like Koi Mil Gaya have always inspired me and made me wonder whether there are really magical creatures like Jadoo beyond our realm. And if so, whether we will someday be able to meet them and have contact with them. And with that positive note and hopes for the future, I would like to thus conclude my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashmita.
Next up, we have Nishant Dev of class 7B, representing the Creator House. You may now choose your topic.
Good morning to one and all present here. I am Nishank Dev, class 7B, Creator House. I choose topic number 1. Healthy oceans and seas are essential to our existence. Healthy oceans and seas are essential for our existence. We live on a blue planet with oceans and seas covering more than 70% of the Earth's surface. Oceans feed us, regulate us, and generate the most amount of oxygen we breathe in. Ocean currents distribute heat across the globe, regulating temperature and weather. The ocean absorbs huge amount of heat from the sun. More than 90% of the warming that has happened on Earth over the last 50 years has occurred in the ocean, according to US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The heat tends to be at its most intense near the equator, with the water nearest the surface warming the most. Sea currents then transport the heat around the world, north and south, towards the poles. As some of the seawater evaporates, it becomes denser and heavier due to its relatively higher salt content. That causes it to sink, taking some of the warm water deeper. Some currents are directly responsible for specific climatic effects. One example is the Gulf Stream, which takes warmer water from the Gulf of Mexico across the Atlantic to the Europe. If the Gulf Stream were disrupted, much of the western part of Europe, including the UK, Ireland, France, could become colder. It is an important source of food. Fish account for almost 16% of all animal protein consumed globally. Of course, there's more seafood than fish. A range of algae and sea plants are also commonly used in cooking. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization lists sodium, calcium, magnesium, and iodine among some of the most important nutrients in seaweeds. They can help eradicate iodine deficiency in children. Oceans and seas produce oxygen through the plants, phytoplankton, kelp, algal plankton, etc., that live in it. These plants produce oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis, a process which converts carbon dioxide and sunlight into sugar the organisms use for energy. Marine trash encompasses all manufactured products, most of them plastic and metal products that end up in the ocean. This trash poses danger to marine life as well as on humans who are dependent on marine form in some form or the other. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishank. Very informative points out there.
Following, we have Anshuman Kedia of class 6B, representing the Innovator House. Anshuman, you may now choose your topic.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anshuman Kedia from class 6 Innovators, and I choose topic number 4, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is a campaign of India that aims to support and help women in working and many other things of life. We should always never discriminate women. Why? Because whatever men can do, women can do as well. So why should we not let women work? Why should only women cook? Why can't they study? Just because they are a girl and they have long hair? No, not at all. Malala said that there are 3 powers of the world. Number 1 is sword, number 2 is pen, and number 3 is women. And we should all respect that fact that women are as powerful as men. We should never ever discriminate girls. And why am I repeating this fact again and again? Because at this modern world, all our grandparents, our parents, they do not want girls and women to work and study, because what they believe is that girls should stick to the kitchen. They should cook food for their husbands or their children, which is not true at all. Because even girls deserve their own right. They should have the privilege to study and work, because it is the most important thing in today's world is study and jobs, because the rate of jobs is so low at this point of world that everyone should study and get a degree to get a job perfectly. Otherwise, they are not going to get anything in their life. And they are just going to go to the streets begging for money. And that is why I believe that women should be saved and be respected by each and every person, whether it is a child, whether adult, or anyone. And I would like to end my speech with a line: Abla Nari should be respected. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshuman. That was certainly an amazing speech.
Last but not the least, we have Nawami Damani of class 6B, representing the Philosopher House.
A very good morning to one and all present here. My name is Navneet Damani. I am from Philosopher House and I choose topic number 3. Forests are the lungs of the earth. A nation's growth from sea to sea stirs in his heart who plants a tree. A nation that destroys its soils destroys itself. Forests are the lungs of Mother Earth, purifying the air and giving pure strength to our people. Forests are an integral part of our planet Earth. Forests help in the survival of numerous species, including human beings. Forests also have great impact on the weather condition and climate. Trees in the forests purify the air by taking in carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. Now, I understood the true essence of forests when I went for a recreational trip with my family to the Sundarbans. The lush greenery and vibrancy of the mangrove forests rejuvenated me. I felt like I have never inhaled such clean and pure air. The wildlife there also mesmerized me. I saw several animals like the Royal Bengal tiger, the wonderful birds, and so on. For time immemorial, forests have been the sources of all forms of life and livelihood. However, it is an indisputable fact that the forests today are facing many threats and are under great distress. And these threats are caused by humans themselves. Like, due to the rapid urbanization and industrialization, we are losing the touch with our important forests that is harming the ecosystem and biodiversity. Thus, we must act collectively to ensure a sustainable future. And this can be done by reducing our carbon footprints and following the 3 R's, that is, reduce, reuse, and recycle. To conclude, I would like to quote, "We won't have a society if we destroy our environment, so plant a tree, even if it is your last deed." Thank you.
A very informative speech, Navami.
Wow, that certainly was a wonderful round. Now we shall be continuing with category 2, where the students of classes 8 and 9 will be representing their respective houses.
Our first speaker from this category is Arja Sarkar of class 8A, representing the Achiever House. You may now choose your topic, Arja.
A very good morning to one and all present here. My name is Arju Sarkar, and I would like to choose topic number 2. The biggest threats are the ones that you do not foresee. Now, to begin my speech, I would like to say this. I believe this is very relevant to the current situation of COVID-19. Who among us here were able to foresee that we would have to sit in our rooms and participate in competitions like Extempore through our mobiles or our laptops? We all imagined that we'd be standing on a stage in front of a large crowd, but no, we're sitting here in our rooms. We did not have complete knowledge as to the COVID-19 pandemic beforehand, and thus we were not able to see its threat. So many people died, and only after that were we able to understand how dangerous it was going to be. Yes, we did know that it had a less mortality rate, as was said by the WHO, but we did not know of its spreading capacity. And that is why we are currently in this state. Anyways, to begin with my actual speech, I would like to say that the unforeseen part of Extempore in itself is what sets it apart from other competitions. The challenge of speaking in front of a large crowd without prior knowledge of the topic is truly difficult. It sets it apart from debate or elocution, where practice is a key. We say practice makes perfect, but without practice, we can still try, and that is what Extempore is, and that is what makes it more difficult. To cite another example as to why unforeseen threats are the most dangerous, I would like to talk about Cyclone Bhola that hit the coast of Bangladesh in 1970 and resulted in the loss of nearly 300,000 lives. Why were so many lives lost, you may ask? Well, it's because the government of Bangladesh was not prepared. They did not have the suitable amenities to foresee the coming of this cyclone. And even when they did, it was already too late. They could not inform the people, and the people could not take precautions. Flash forward 50 years, and we see that cyclones of similar gravity have hit the coast of Bangladesh again. And there have been lives lost, but the number of lives that were lost was greatly reduced. And this is because they were able to foresee and tell the people of the impending threat. People were able to take precautions and they were saved. Why do I say that unforeseen threats are the most dangerous? Well, when you do not know that a threat is coming, how will you prepare countermeasures or take precautions to protect yourselves from such? It's not really possible now, is it? And when you can't take precautions and when you can't create countermeasures, well, then you suffer the most. I'm not saying that even if you knew that the threat was coming, there wouldn't be any damage. But don't you think that the damage would have been greatly increased if you didn't even know about it at all? Before I like to conclude, I would like to quote an unknown author. And I believe that this quote is very important. And we must keep this in mind during the current time of darkness and despair. Unexpected results and problems are part of life. So never lose your hope in any condition, because the darkness of night always ends with the light of day. Thank you.
A very strong speech, Arjo.
Next, we have Nayonika Bhattacharjee of class 8C, representing the Creator House. The floor is yours, Nayonika.
A very good morning to one and all present here. I am Nayonika Bhattacharjee, representing Creator House, and I choose topic 1. Nature knows no borders and neither do natural calamities. Nature, it is such a beautiful yet scary and mysterious aspects of our lives. Our souls, they find solace in nature, in the breeze of the wind, or the soft sound of the overlapping of water, or in the sunny sky. However, we do not find any solace in the distressing winds of a cyclone or in the dark clouds which appear just before a thunderstorm. Nature is both a terrific and a terrifying phenomenon. Natural calamities, they do not differentiate between anyone, neither between good or bad, or rich and poor. They just take whatever they can get and they leave shattered souls behind. One such example of this is the COVID-19 pandemic, which is nothing but a horrible twist of nature. It has taken so many lives. Imagine a poor child who lost his mother, or a loving sister who lost her dear brother. We all lost something in this pandemic. In fact, most of us, we polluted nature left, right, and center. And now we are getting to see its very rage. Let me cite another example of this. The catastrophic cyclone Amphan that hit us in 2020. It wiped out villages and flooded the entire city. But then we must not also forget that it is this very same nature that protects us from the ultraviolet radiations, or that nature is also very giving when it comes to healing. Plants and herbs that are the foundation of modern day medicine. We get calcium from the cows and vitamin D from the sun. And now we get the air we breathe and the food we eat from nature, but we also have droughts and famines present. So now I'll conclude my speech saying that I'm sure that these roller coaster years have taught us one thing. That is that nature is very unpredictable. It can show us selfless love and ruthless destruction. Thank you.
Thank you, Nayonika. That was certainly a very touching speech.
Following, we have Ritam Sen of class 8A, representing the Innovator House. You may now choose your topic, Ritam.
A very good morning to one and all present here. My name is Ritam Sen, and today I'll be representing the Innovator House. I would prefer to speak on topic number 3. Technology and nature are natural enemies. I would like to begin with a quote from American novelist Don DeLillo. Technology is lust removed from nature. Technology and nature have always been locked in a seemingly never-ending battle, where the advancement of one is quite a blow to the other. But why did this battle begin? Who drove both to such points? That will be addressed in due time. Before such a thing as technology existed, we had no power over nature and had to bow down to its whims. The discovery of fire was probably the first time we realized that we could overcome nature's wrath and use it for our own purposes. Ever since, humans have stretched their imagination trying to conjure the improbable, the impossible, control over nature. A perfect example of this would be Project Cirrus, initiated by the American government in 1942 as a bid to control weather phenomena. Needless to say, that experiment was a failure. Dumping a few tons of dry ice into the eye of a storm as a gamble to control its trajectory enraged Mother Nature. Not only did the hurricane intensify, but changed course at the last minute and critically hit Savannah, Georgia. Technology is just a reflection of human motives. It is something taken from nature and processed by us to make it something that counters nature. Hence, we can say that the origin of technology lies in nature itself. We run down forests and build our cities on it, cities that pollute the atmosphere. We sacrifice the ozone layer to make our traveling comfortable. And we burn non-renewable, polluting fuels for easy, cheap energy generation. But is technology really controlling itself? Who is behind the development of this technology? We, humans, are. Hence, the thought behind the development of harmful technologies is the actual enemy. Up till the 2000s, technology was made with the intention of making humans more powerful. If we judiciously use natural resources to develop technology that both humans and nature can benefit from, that is sustainable technology, the centuries-long war will finally conclude. The Smart Cities initiative, for an example, is salvaging nature from our past mistakes by creating an environment where both humans and nature can coexist peacefully. In conclusion, I believe that nature and technology are not natural enemies, but the relationship between the two depends clearly on clean, judicious use of technology by us humans. Thank you.
Wonderful speech, Rita.
Last but not the least, we have Kushan Roy of 8A representing the Philosopher House. You may now choose your topic, Kushan.
Thank you. A very good morning to one and all present here. I am Kushan Roy from Philosopher House and I choose topic number 4. Listening is a dying art. We only listen to refute or reply. So, you see, communication is a gap process which creates issues. We tend not to communicate. We species are so dominant that we want to dominate the conversation and end it. There was a time when listening was a part of a culture, and we used to listen and then make solutions. But right now, we don't have time to listen to anything. We don't have time to have a conversation. We think that giving solutions is the best way. So we just give solutions based on the topics. There were wars for no communication. Cold wars, the Afghan war, the Syrian war. So many wars. We have seen Iraq and Iran issues. We have seen China and USA, even India and Pakistan. Countries have been divided. There have been wars just because listening is a dying art. Because we think giving a solution is the perfect way. When there was a problem between India and China, they blamed us, we blamed them. We might be wrong, they might be wrong. We are not sure. But our fifth spoke first. But then we sat down to discuss the issue. People rather give a solution than listen to the conversation. But it's not true that listening is fading away quickly. We listen to our teachers listen to us. We also listen to our parents, and they are also listening to us. I would also like to say about non-verbal communication. I don't know how many of your parents have taught you, but my mom was very particular about this. So whenever she would give a stare at me, I was supposed to stop and go back to her. So non-verbal communication. We don't need to use our ears all the time. We can also perceive with other senses. What I believe is that listening is more like a personal choice than a habit. Thank you.
Thank you, Kushan. That was a very informative speech.
Another very captivating round. We now have our last category for the day, and that is category 3. All students from this category are from classes 10 and 11. They'll be representing their respective houses.
Our first speaker from this category is Ritika Singh of class 11B, representing the Achiever House. You may now choose your topic, Ritika.
Good morning to one and all present here. I, Ritika Singh, I choose topic number 2. Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Personally, I feel like Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Mahatma Gandhi once said that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. This statement says that the Earth has enough resources to support all of humanity. However, it cannot support a luxurious lifestyle for all of us. If we want everyone to survive, then we must make some sacrifices. The journey started after the creation of human being in this world. As man got matured, he kept on inventing new things to get a better life and for a good living. His wants were not restricted, desires were boundaryless, and finding reason for everything made him an undefined creature. And that's how an environment has been created in which we are living now. We see this in a broader perspective. All this happened because of greed. Everyone wants a better or more luxurious lifestyle. It's not a bad type of greed, and it's certainly not evil. It's just not attainable. The greed Gandhi talks about is just a dream of utopia where everyone lives in a relative resources the planet. Gandhi means that some of us must give up on both luxury and dream for the greater good. The resources on earth are plenty if they are used judiciously without any unnecessary exploitation and can satisfy needs of all human beings. Greed is the most potent evil weakening of mankind, but the wages of greed are hell. Almighty has created everything so abundant in this world that it's enough for all of our needs. The stars, the sky, the warmth of the air, the oxygen, the food, the fruit, and the luxuries. There's no dearth of anything. We get as much as we require in spite of such a mind-boggling abundance. Man gets tempted to have, possess, and owe more and more. The avarice is the root of all of ills. If we want our future generations to witness and use the resources, we should balance our consumption for the greater good. All the wars, struggles, cutthroat competition, rat race to have more than others, the madness to attain everything. This does not allow the man to see that there is enough for everyone's need, but not everyone's greed. Today, human beings exploit resources indiscriminately to satisfy their greed. They do not realize the fact that indiscriminate use of resources will lead to its depletion, and the future generations will not even have enough to satisfy their basic needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritika. That certainly was a very good speech.
Next up, we have Arushi Dubey of class 11B from the Creator House. Please choose your topic.
A very good morning to our respected judges and to everyone present here. I'm Arushi Dubey from the Creator House, and I choose topic 1. Ethical practices and sustainability cannot exist. I feel like this topic is quite interesting in the sense that its meaning can differ vastly depending on how you choose to define it. Ethics and sustainability have become buzzwords at the moment and can be found in a lot of our conversations, including our shopping habits. Now, as consumers, our awareness has also grown, and we look for products which are ethically sourced, grown or made using sustainable techniques, etc. In simple words, ethics refer to moral principles or codes of conduct, while sustainability, as we all know, refers to the practice of exercising restraint over our natural resources and using them judiciously in order to preserve them for the generations to come. Sustainability can also be taken as continued development or growth. Now, this topic has become increasingly relevant when we consider the detrimental impact of industrialization, urbanization, and various human activities on the nature and what that could imply for the future. Now, it would be fair to say that sustainability and ethical practices are concepts which are intricately intertwined. I believe that they do and, in fact, are coexist. A person who is sustainable is ethical, at least in most cases. Now, talking about it from the perspective of the environment, there is a certain element of practicality involved as well. Let's take the instance of felling of trees for creating human settlements. Now, while this is most certainly unethical, it is an inevitable step which needs to be taken for human sustenance. Now that I think about it, ethical practices are the pillars that sustain everything in the world, be it global climate or billion-dollar companies or even world politics, in even our personal well-being. I was recently reading an article about the after impacts of the terrorist attacks in the Taj Hotel and how Tata undertook several endeavors for their employees, including relief, assistance, and J.R.D. Tata himself visited many families of the victims. Now, the point being that by establishing such relationships with employers and displaying such wonderful compassion and ethics, you're adding to the sustainability of your company. Now, I believe phenomenal things can be achieved when we find the right balance between these two subjects. I mean, there are examples of countries like Japan that are developing fantastically without putting their future generations in peril. It is high time that we understand the importance of ethics and sustainability both and find the right equation between the two. Thank you.
A very informative and wonderful speech, Arushi.
Following, we have Rishabh Mitra of class 11A, representing the Innovator House. The floor is yours, Rishabh.
I'm Rishabh Mitra, 11A, Innovator House, and I choose topic number 3. The most beautiful thing can neither be seen nor be touched, but can only be felt. And I feel that this topic is so true, yet the meaning of this topic is one that...
Rishabh, if you could please speak a bit louder as we cannot hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but if you could just speak a little louder.
Am I clearly audible now?
Yes, Rishabh, you are audible.
So am I clearly audible now?
Yes, Rishabh, we can hear you.
So I'll start. I believe that this topic is very true in the contemporary times because really the world has become a mercenary world where we value materialism and where we value money a lot more than anything else now. I mean, look at all the multinational companies that are only seeking for profit. That is the key word in today's culture, profit. And that is what everyone is hungry for. They are hungry to earn profit. They are hungry to earn more money. But amidst this mad race of materialistic gains, what we forget are the real things that matter, like happiness, like love, things that we cannot see or touch, but things that we can feel from within. And those are the most important things in life. In the same way, if you look at nature, it's not the trees, it's not the water, or it's not the land we stand on, but it's the collective feeling of that feeling towards nature, that romanticism towards nature. That's the beauty of having a connection towards nature. If we look at romantic poets like William Wordsworth and J.B. Keats, they didn't talk about the physical aspect of nature, but they talked about the romanticism of nature. They talked about the feelings that they felt from within when they saw the beauty of nature. So in order to promote sustainable development, what I feel is it's not a thing that we can impose on someone. We cannot force them. The government cannot bring forth regulations on industries and expect them to follow, because that will be coercing them into doing something. It's a feeling that needs to come from within, a feeling of a responsibility to protect the natural resources, a feeling of a responsibility towards helping the nature, a feeling of gratitude towards the natural endowments that we've been bestowed with. It's not things that perhaps we can see. It's not things that perhaps we can touch, but it's things that we can feel from within us. It's that feeling that matters, that counts. And if we can instill this feeling, the world will become a better place. That is how we can move forward. It's not the advantages of the tree that matters, but the memories associated with that pine tree, the fact that the child grew up with that pine tree and collected mangoes from that pine tree. It's those feelings from within that make the difference. And so I hope that even though we are in a mercenary world, in an era of the pandemic times, we will understand the things that matter the most to us as individuals and as people. And we will understand that it is the collective feeling towards the love for nature that's more important than counting the money notes that we have. And I would like to end with a quote. If you think the economy is more important than the environment, try counting your money notes whilst you hold your breath. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rishabh.
Our last speaker for today is Uttaran De of class 10C from the Philosopher House.
Good morning to one and all present here. My name is Uttarandi and I'm representing the Philosopher House. I choose topic number 4. Cryptocurrency, a bright future or just a fad? The best way to destroy capitalism is to debauch the currency. This has been stated by Vladimir Lenin, the first leader of the Soviet Union. Now today, what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a digital currency which is completely different from that what we are already in. Currency is legally recognized by the government. It is certified by the government and made by the government for the people. Cryptocurrency is an entirely different thing, made by the people. You have no control over it. Recently, recently China banned cryptocurrency completely, stating that it can be one of the most harmful reasons for an economic fall. We have seen the 2008 economic crash, which brought United States at its knees. You cannot see another crash, something like that. Besides, there is adverse effects on environment on cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, since it consumes the highest amount of energy. We must understand that all the topics we're speaking of today here is related to the sustainable development goals. And here you have an entirely different thing, which is not legally recommended, not accepted. That thing is trying to destroy the ecosystem, the financial market, the entire government's planning. There is no centralization, no refund, no cancellation for cryptocurrency. It is extremely prone to market fluctuation. Today, if cryptocurrencies are at its top and suddenly we have no idea what's going on, it falls down. We have seen in cases of many currencies like the Shiba Inu currency, which was a famous meme currency. It was going at a huge pace, but suddenly it disappeared. You have no controller body. You have nobody to take care of your money. It is extremely dangerous. There is no legal transaction. I welcome the decision of the Indian government to tax 30% of the cryptocurrencies, but that is also wrong since it legally acknowledges cryptocurrency. We should learn from China. We should learn how China is looking forward to completely ban cryptocurrency. It has already banned cryptocurrency, and now they have stated that every other nation should do it as well. Because if this continues, it will take the world into a different place. It will completely destroy our economy. It will bring on anarchism. I respect the goals of anarchism, but unfortunately, we humans aren't enough evolved to adapt to anarchism. Thank you so much.
A wonderful and very confident speech, Uttaran. Thank you to all the participants who spoke with such presence of mind and courage. Each and every student voiced their opinions and thoughts in the best way possible. And indeed, it was a pleasure to listen to all of you.
Yes, we must note the resilience and drive of our students to be able to work so hard during these trying times, practice for hours on end, and finally perform so well here today. Our teachers have played such an instrumental role in this event, and without them, this event would certainly have not been possible.
Now, I would like to invite our esteemed judges to share their words of wisdom with all of us present here. I would now invite Miss Anvesha Ray. Ma'am, it would be great if you could share your views on this event.
First of all, am I audible? This is the
Yes, ma'am.
general question that we got to ask, right? So first of all, I'd like to thank everybody at South City International School for inviting me for such a riveting event. I am delighted and I'm so happy to be here. I'd like to congratulate each of the participants today for performing so brilliantly. And I'd also like to congratulate Mahi and Shuchishmita for being such outstanding hosts and anchor for the event. The last 2 years, the years of the pandemic, have altered every domain of our lives, right? And as we relentlessly tried or are still trying to adapt to this abrupt change in our lifestyles, we have come to realize the importance of communication in our lives, whether it is business communication or social communication. And the growth in the usage of virtual interfaces such as Zoom, Google Meet, Google Duo, FaceTime, MS Teams, all these are evidences to what I'm trying to say, right? The history of communication, however, it dates back to the classical ages, that is the age of Aristotle and Cicero, and the philosophers would they wrote at length about logic and stylization in speech, and most importantly, the ability to persuade the listeners, right? Also, memory proves to be a very essential facet. So whatever you observe, whatever you hear, you experience, you retain that in your memory, and that forms the raw materials for communication, especially for unscripted communication, something that you all attempted today in today's event. Well, for my dear contestants here, I believe that participation is itself a victory. It is not about outbeating your fellow contestants, it is about outbeating anything and everything that tries to pull you away from achieving what you deserve and what you aspire for. So when you all got yourselves registered for today's event, you won over any iota of doubt that you might have had in your ability. You won over stage fright, your shyness, your fear of judgment, and you won your own confidence, right? And today we shall be declaring the best speaker, but that is only for today in this given situation, for this given topic. So within a very limited parameter. Hence, it does not make the others any less outstanding, because it takes a lot of effort, a lot of courage to come so far. What you are doing, you require a lot of talent, a lot of courage to, speak your heart out in front of so many people, and, right at the go without much preparation. May you all persevere. May your courage burgeon. All the best to each of the participants. All my love for you. Shine on. And thank you so much once again.
Thank you for the very encouraging words, ma'am.
I would now like to request Mrs. Rashmila Maiti to share some words with us today.
Hi, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I apologize if there is any echo. I'm in a classroom, so apologies in advance for that. First and foremost, I just wanted to say thank you to South City School, especially Principal Sir, Mr. Bagul, as well as trying to find out Malupika ma'am's name I can't find. So thank you to her also. A big thank you to the anchors who made the show so amazing. I think Sridipta ma'am was in charge of timing, right? That was also a very important job. Thank you for that. When people get excited and enthusiastic, we often forget that there is a time limit of 2 minutes and we need to condense our speech. I think Sumaira ma'am was in charge of the slideshow and technology. So again, thank you for that, because now that we've been in the pandemic for so long, I still struggle with technology, and there have been times when I've made numerous mistakes. So the fact that this entire online event went without any kind of a technological issue, I think all of you should give a pat on your back for that. I would also like to say a big thank you to all the participants. As my fellow judge, Anvesha ma'am said, this is just one competition. There might have been technological issues, there might have been intelligence issues, there might have been any number of issues. So if you're not winning today's event, it's perfectly fine. All of you are very articulate, very intelligent, very educated. The fact that you can pull out quotations at the drop of a hat was something that I personally admire, because I suck at it. Also the fact that you are so amazing, the fact that all of you spoke so well on such a wide variety of topics makes me feel very happy that our future is in very safe, capable and intelligent hands. So that is all that I would like to say. All the very best. Have a wonderful rest of the week. And again, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to interact with all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Last but not the least, I would call upon Mrs. Madhumita Malik to share her thoughts.
I hope I'm audible, which is very important.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. First and foremost, I would really like to thank the school, the management, and everybody who has given me this opportunity. I've had a really delightful time, and I'm taking back really good memories. Let me just tell you this, that each and every participant, all of you are winners, and there is no doubt about it. Under the trying circumstances that we are going through, the difficulties we are facing, these young speakers, the way they have risen to the occasion, the way they've shown their instantaneous thinking, the analysis of the topics, the identification of the issues, the general ideas, it is something really I cannot think that even I or many of us could have done it better than them. So I have been listening intently. And category 1, I'm so impressed by the youngest of the speakers. They did justice to the topic, and they came up with all the good examples, and they were really winners throughout. And last but not the least, I would like to really, I'm really impressed by the anchors and the way these young anchors have conducted the entire event. And it is actually a big day for all of us, because as your principal ma'am sir has pointed out, the results are out today, and a very big best of luck to all the students who are involved in this. And once again, I would like to congratulate the whole team who has brought up this fantastic event. Each of the topics was so well thought out. And as I said, the speakers have all done justice to it. So once again, under these difficult circumstances, we have all, risen to the occasion, and you have really done yourselves so well. So now, once again, I would like to conclude by saying that, they all of you are winners. I really cannot say that who was better and who was, less than the other. And I wish best of luck in all your endeavors, and may you jump from success to success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the encouraging words. We have now come to the end of the competition. Indeed, what a show it was. I've said it before, but I'll say it again, that all the participants were extremely prompt, and it was a pleasure to hear all of you. Now, till the scores are being tabulated, Mahi and I would like to share a modern poem based on hope and optimism, written during the dark times. A poem by Odette Katrak called Everyone's Losing Something. Everyone's losing something. What did you lose today? Our routines have all gone haywire, taking our comforts away. Did you lose the privilege of a driver whom the lockdown forced to stay at home? Or were forced to cook your own dinner, pushing you out of your comfort zone? Are you sad that you lost a holiday that you have booked so much in advance? Caught with the seeming unfairness of this unfortunate circumstance.
Everyone's losing something, a privilege, an opportunity, a chance. But lucky are they who lose just these minor hiccups to otherwise smooth plans. There's the unlucky one who lost a job, and another who lost his mind. The stress of this pandemic scenario has been brutally unkind. So, if you missed your maid this morning or your favorite TV soap, remember the little girl missing a dad but just doesn't know how to cope.
Each one is going through this nightmare in varying degrees of dread. For some, it's a minor adjustment. For others, a permanent void instead. Everyone's losing something or someone. Many are finding it difficult to cope. But whatever you lose as you travel on, make sure to never lose hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel, a definite rainbow after the storm. Your losses will strengthen your inner core. You learn to cope as you move on.
There are people dying all around us. No beds, just gasping for breath. Our convenience doesn't matter as much as collective onus to prevent each death. Everyone's losing something or someone. Let's remember, we're all part of a whole. One person's action can hasten the spread. Let's choose right and hang on to hope.
Everyone's losing something or someone. We've all got to play our part and hang on to hope as we journey on. Bruised, broken, but never losing heart. The reason why I like this poem so much is because it is so lyrical and heart-touching. Activist Odette Katrak from Bangalore has indeed thrown light to the various emotions one has felt during the time of the lockdown in our country. And without any question, this poem portrays it all.
Now, on a lighter note, the time has come for results. I would like to invite our senior English teacher, Mrs. Chinmoy Ghosh Choraria, to announce the list of winners.
Thank you, Mahi. Thank you, Suchishmita. I would request please switch it off. Thank you. And a very big thank you to all the three judges for taking their time and listening to our speakers and handing over the results so promptly. So Yes, I have a sheet of paper which shows the results, but just a minute, please excuse me. Please excuse me for a minute. Extremely sorry for the interruption. So I have the sheet of paper which shows the names of the winners. But who are the winners? Winners are ordinary people with extraordinary determination. Winners are not people who never fail, but people who never quit. So anyway, there was this competition and we are going to declare the first positions. The points are out of 150. So from category 1, the winners are, I said winners, we have a tie. We have a tie here. The winners are Nishank De from 7B, Nishank De from Creator House, and Navami Damani from Philosopher House, who have jointly scored 130 points of 150. Moving on to category B, the second category. And the winner is from Achiever House, it's Arjo Shorkar with 125 points of 150.
Thank you, ma'am.
And now for the final category. The winner has obtained 134 points out of 150 and is Uttarunde from Philosopher House. A big round of applause for all the winners. And finally, it's time to announce the best house. Hold your breath. The best house is Philosopher House. Okay, thank you very much. And now I would like to invite Shonali ma'am Shonali Chakravarti ma'am to come and deliver the vote of thanks.
Shonali ma'am? Ma'am, you're muted.
Okay, can I start again? Yes. Yes. On behalf of South City International School, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. I would like to thank our principal, Mr. John Andrew Bagul, for his encouragement and unrelenting support and guidance. I thank most profoundly our judges, Miss Anvesha Ray, Mrs. Rashmila Maiti, Mrs. Madhumita Malik, for gracing the occasion in spite of their busy schedule. I thank Mrs. Swathi Nandi Dutt, our secondary head, and Mrs. Rupika Nath, the Dean of Academics, for their constant support and guidance. Students, congratulations for your phenomenal performance. Thank you, parents, for your constant support and cooperation. A special mention to all the teachers of the English department involved for making this event a success. We thank Mrs. Sumaira Khan and Mr. Atanu Chakravarti for all the technical help. We are grateful to Mrs. Akshita Paul Chaudhary, Mrs. Manisha Pandey, and Mr. Edwin Lawrence for tabulating the scores. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. We thank Ms. Sridipta Garai for gracefully agreeing to be the timekeeper. I sincerely thank Mrs. Maua Chakravarti, the head of PA department, and the social media department and her team for their support and media coverage. I also thank Mr. Kinshuk Pal, heading the logistic department, for all the services rendered by providing us with the necessary facilities. Thank you, students and all viewers, for being an excellent audience and for listening patiently. With this, we come to the end of the event. Thank you once again. Now, I would request our judges, viewers, and participants to log out of the meeting. Thank you. Am I ending the meeting? Yes. Am I ending the meeting?